Today we are going to be looking at Quentin Tarantino as an auteur. Quentin Tarantino was born on March 27th, 1963 in Knoxville, Tennessee. His mother was a nurse and his father was an actor, and by the age of 4, he had moved to California. In 1986, he worked at a video store where he wrote and sold several screenplays that would later become True Romance and Natural Born Killers. He made a third screenplay which he would use for himself, which would become Reservoir Dogs. His initial budget for Reservoir Dogs was around $3,000, but after meeting with his friend Lawrence Bender, Bender got him around $1.5 million to produce the film. After the production of Reservoir Dogs was complete, he showcased it at the Sundance Film Festival, where it was a huge success. It garnered a lot of critical acclaim, and thus jump-started his directing future. Tarantino has only directed 10 films, with one more on the way called The Film Critic. I believe that the reasoning for his low film count compared to other directors is his quest for perfection. He has said that directors often make terrible final films, so when he makes one he's happy with, it might be his last film. I don't believe he's made any bad films, but if I were to recommend 3 of my favorite from him, they would be Django Unchained, Inglourious Basterds, and Pulp Fiction. Now onto the auteur elements. Even though Tarantino isn't the first one to create the crash zoom, he's definitely the one that popularized it. You can see the crash zooms in almost all of his films, and is definitely a signature element that he uses, and very recognizable to anyone watching his films. For me, the crash zooms exacerbate the feelings or emotions that the characters are experiencing in that moment. It also adds to the stylized element of his films, which helps set it apart from everything else. Another technique that Tarantino uses are the low POV shots. Often in the trunk of cars, but also implemented in other ways throughout his films, they add suspense, hiding the object or person from the audience, leaving them guessing to what it truly is, like in Pulp Fiction. And they also add emphasis on the character's reactions or feelings, looking directly down at the audience. Another thing that Tarantino is known for in his films are his use of reoccurring actors. Examples are Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tim Roth, Kurt Russell, and of course Samuel L. Jackson. There are also others like Uma Thurman and Michael Madsen, and they all play a key part in the identity of his films. One thing that Tarantino is most known for in his films is the use of exaggerated violence. I believe he uses 2 types of violence, comical and realistic. Realistic adding more weight and suspense to a scene, whereas comical is just pointing out the ridiculousness of a certain situation. I also believe his reasoning for using the violence in his films is a really simple one. He just loves to see violence in movies.
Why the need for so much gruesome, graphic violence? Why not let us imagine
because
a little
it's so
of it?
much fun, Jan.
Really?
Get it?
Oh, really? Okay, I'd like to see you.
Today we're going to be looking at part of the opening scene for Inglourious Basterds. Try to take note of the camera techniques and also the actors' facial expressions that help build suspense and also defy the viewer's expectations.
The rumor, but we heard the Dreyfuses had made their way into Spain.
So the rumors you've heard have been of escape?
Oui. Yes.
Having never met the Dreyfuses, Would you confirm for me the exact members of the household and their names?
There were 5 of them. The father, Jacob, wife, Miriam, and her brother, Bob.
How old is Bob?
30, 31.
Continue.
And the children, Amos and Shoshana.
Ages of the children?
Amos was,
So right here, Tarantino visually breaks the 180-degree rule, literally flipping the tables on La Petite. It also sets up for a big reveal that completely changes the dynamic of this conversation.
9 or 10.
And Shoshana?
And Shoshana was 18 or 19. I'm not really sure.
Well, I guess that should do it. However, before I go, could I have another glass of your delicious milk?
Well, of course.
Just when you think they're in the clear, he pulls the rug out from underneath you. That's why I find this scene so interesting. It's like a cat and mouse game, with false glimpses of hope, and all you could do is watch it unfold.
However, the reason the Führers brought me off my Alps in Austria and placed me in French cow country today is because it does occur to me. Because I'm aware what tremendous feats human beings are capable of once they abandon dignity. May I smoke my pipe as well?
Please, Urkel, make yourself at home.
Now, my job dictates that I must have my men enter your home and conduct a thorough search before I can officially cross your family's name off my list. And if there are any irregularities to be found, rest assured there will be. That is unless you have something to tell me that makes the conducting of a search unnecessary. I might add also that any information that makes the performance of my duty easier will not be met with punishment. Actually, quite the contrary. It will be met with reward. And that reward will be your family will cease to be harassed in any way by the German military during the rest of our occupation of your country. You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding. Since I haven't heard any disturbance, I assume while they're listening, they don't speak English.
Yes.
going to switch back to French now, and I want you to follow my masquerade hat clear.
Yes.
Monsieur Lapadite, je vous remercie pour le lait et pour votre hospitalité. Il me semble que nous en avons terminé. Ah, mesdames, je vous remercie pour le temps que vous m'avez consacré. Nous ne ruinerons pas votre famille plus longtemps. Donc, monsieur, mesdemoiselles, je prends congé de vous et je vous dis adieu.
What are other common themes you see in his films? And do you think he goes too far? Why or why not?